Man of the problem. Let them I'll be finished with one you are doing this out. Let's go and tell it. Yeah, get up there. Je ne parle pas qualité, non. Je te connais, je te dis. So you make it well. Je fais, oui. I know this thing's it's not by power. You can't see what the stop up and just see.
Welcome to my life. If you're joining for the very first time, please leave a comment so that I can greet you depending on where you're writing from.
Okay. I am teaching you how to walk in chronological manner. As if you want to walk before you are going to another, don't just jump like back.
Hey, MG King. Aaron, hey, good evening. Where are you writing from? Yes, Aaron, I'm a female.
Why you actually a female?
Good evening. Hey, from South Australia. Wow, the first person that is writing from Australia. Thank you for joining our lives, Zach. Zach from Australia, welcome to our live. If you are joining for the very first time, today is Nurse Aisha and we are all pumping to 1,000 subscribers. Hey Nurse, hey Campbell, good evening. Good evening, down camera. Sorry, my camera is very poor. I'm using the phone camera. Please draw you from India. Give me your Snapchat. Good evening. If you are joining for the very first time, Nadesh, where are you from? I'm from Cameroon. If you are joining for the very first time, please like the video and subscribe. Don't forget, we are moving to 1,000. And if you're a new YouTuber like myself, please leave your YouTube handle so that we might rush to your channel. What should I give you, MG King? I'm from Africa. Where from Africa? Nadesh, where are you from in Africa? Good evening. If you are joining for the very first time, I'm Nurse Aisha. And today, I don't have Snapchat, but I have TikTok and I have Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. Hey, who is standing behind you? Look a lot like you. There's nobody standing behind me. It's the door. Aisha to Ingangwek. All right, you were the one standing behind me.
I just came.
It's a lie.
I just came.
So they said somebody was standing behind me and you came. You were the one. Who is standing behind you looks like you? Yeah.
Ha. Hoto.
Hoto. Hey, Padre. Good evening. If you are joining my live for the very first time, please do well to leave a comment, like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Today we are running to 1K subscribers. You look hot. Thank you so very much, MG King. MG King, where are you writing us from so that we know? Baby, where are you from? Sorry, I'm from Africa and I'm in Cameroon. Good evening. They were cooking. They were the one that were distracting me when I was talking. I was talking to them. She said she does not like chicken. Hello, sweet Kana Ruta. Are you a pro-Israel? No, I'm not from Israel. I'm from Cameroon. The smile of this girl standing behind you is very nice. Ah, smile. She's shy. She's run away. She's shy. Leave from here. Go away. She's shy. I'll be too. Move away. I'm from India. All right. Mr. Indian Fox. Indian Fox, good evening. Good evening. According to my time, your sister, Black Angie, wins. Yes. Oh, one of my brother is wins too. My brother is wins. Wins, good evening. What are you writing us from? I'm from India. Hey. Hey, Marshall, good evening, good evening. Where are you writing from? Please, if you are joining the live for the very first time, do well to like, subscribe. We are Operation 1000. We are Operation 1000. Today is just to grow the channel. And let's have fun together. We have fun, we talk about things, and then we grow together. Good evening, good evening, good evening. If you are joining the channel for the very first time, please do well to like and leave a comment. Thank you so very much. Are you guys saying that there is no phone in this house? Good evening, good evening. If you are joining for the very first time, this is Nurse Aisha. Today is my public holiday, so I'm home, even though I'm not feeling well. So do well to like the video. Let's subscribe, let's subscribe, let's subscribe. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you so very much for joining. If you are joining for the very first time, do well to like the video and leave a subscription. Please comment where you're writing from. Comment where you're writing from. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Please comment where you're writing from. Good evening. If you are joining my live for the very first time, this is Nurse Aisha, and today we want to grow the channel. Please, as you are joining, comment where you are writing from so that we can greet you depending on your time. How was work today? Let's discuss. Let's have a chat. Good evening, good evening, good evening. If you are joining for the very first time, please do well to like and leave a comment. Subscribe. Right on so that we can greet you depending on where you're coming from. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Here is Nurse Aisha, and today we want to pioneer the channel to a new level. If you are joining for the very first time, I'm Nurse Aisha. If you are a returning subscriber, I want to say hello. How was your day today? Mine was not the best of days as I'm not feeling too well. Good evening, good evening. I'm Nurse Aisha. How are you today? Please, as you are joining, leave a comment so that we can know from which direction you're writing from. Ne jette pas la sauce là, c'est ce que je veux manger avec la riz. Moi, je veux manger ça. Good evening, good evening. If you're joining for the very first time, please do well to leave a comment so that we can greet you depending where you're joining from. I'm Nurse Aisha, and today, just like yesterday, we are continuing our chat on what will you do in relationship problems. How do we solve it?
I am interested.
Hey, Hey, you are interested. If you're you are interested, what are you interested about? Tells you that I'm sorry, I am unable to have a child. What will you do? They knew very well that they had a problem. Let's take in a case where the man is impotent. I cannot have a child. I was afraid to tell you because I'm scared to lose you. What will you do? How will you manage it? I'm asking you behind me.
Me.
Yes.
I've not reached that level.
You're not reached that level. Okay. Do you know your genotype? All right. See, this is another adult behind me that don't know her genotype. And when I keep shouting here, go and do your genotype. Go and do your genotype. The whole yesterday, I sent everybody that is writing to go and do their genotype. And you're behind me. You don't know your genotype.
Mm-hmm.
When is the last time you did your HIV status? You check.
Last year.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that 2024 is almost getting finished?
Mm-hmm.
You talk, nobody listens. Nobody listens until they get themselves into trouble.
Oui.
You have to go and do your electrophoresis. Last time you said you were going to do it, what happened that you did not do it?
We went to the hospital.
And what happened that you did not do it?
The doctor was not there.
What do you mean by the doctor was not there? Was the doctor doing the one to do the electrophoresis?
Yeah.
Good evening. If you are joining my live for the very first time, please leave your comments so that let's know the direction from which you are writing. I'll beat you. Please, as you are joining, indicate where you are writing from so that we can greet you depending on your location. This is Nurse Aisha, and today we are still on the topic, the labs that are supposed to be done before you say I do. Before you go into a relationship, which labs do you have to do, or which labs must you have done? Yes. And if you are already in a relationship, which measures are you taking to be sure that you are safe and your partner is safe? Are you sure you've asked the right questions? The right medical questions? Because I know that when they start talking about questioning, somebody will go and start asking, what is your job? I don't care what the person's job is. I care to know what the person's genotypes are. The blood group and rhesus factor. What is your blood group?
Oh.
What is the rhesus factor?
I don't know.
If you don't know your rhesus factor, they don't know your blood group.
I don't first of all know any.
You don't know your genotype. You don't know your rhesus factor.
Positive.
Are you sure?
Yes, madam.
All right, she's O positive. If it's a lie, we'll find out. What is your blood group and the rhesus factor? How does that place in a relationship? What is the family history of the person you are about to date? Because if their family history says that they have mental issues, you better be sure that the mental issue will run in your own lineage. If the family history says that there are people that are obese, and you too have a family history of obesity, then you better have to start checking, because your children might suffer a double genes of obesity. If they have a history of cancer, you should find out, you should know that. And I know it's weird to start asking somebody, are you guys having a family history of... We need to consciously live life these days. It's past time where people take love and tie on their scores and start moving with it. No. This time around, we get into a relationship and we are sure about what we are getting into. Blood of Jesus, Father, give me strength. My energy is leaving me gradually. Good evening, good evening. As you're joining the live, please do well to leave a comment so that we might greet you depending on where you're joining from. Today is Nurse Aisha, and with me is my beautiful daughter. I don't know what she's doing behind me. She just likes to pong nose like that. So I'll allow her to be doing the pongyations. So those are the, when you have spoken about your genotype, when you have spoken, okay, when you have spoken of genotype, when you have spoken about your blood group and the rhesus factor, when you have spoken about your family history, it is important that you talk about fertility. And fertility here, that is where the question comes from. And that is where the problem or the query has been the past 2 days, where a lady got married and only on their wedding night, the husband was telling her he's impotent. That is because he was not able to perform his duties like a man. So this came down to her asking, what is wrong with you? And the man was like, I'm sorry, but I'm impotent. Now, is this information the type of information we're supposed to hear on the day of your honeymoon? No, of course. It is not your honeymoon night that you are supposed to be told who is impotent, who has a uterus, who can have children, who is rhesus, SS or AA. You have to know that before you start a serious relationship with somebody. And yes, I know that you might be talking about the financial backings of all this, but get to understand that if you already do your own part of the job by knowing your blood group, by knowing your rhesus factor, by knowing your genotype, by knowing your history, by knowing doing your HIV, knowing your HIV status, knowing if you have any kind of STDs, we are not going to go to the hospital to do these checks again. You just tell the individual. And we have to be honest. We have to be honest in a relationship in order to live a better and a happy life. Today is the 28th and we started this month with 302 subscribers, and today we are already on 405 subscribers. So it is a success. It's been a successful month and we wish it can grow and continue in the same light. Please, if you are joining my live for the very first time, do well to leave a comment and like the video, subscribe, because we are going Operation 1000. We want to get to 1000 by the end of this month or by mid next month. Let's do it together. If you're a new YouTuber, leave your comments so that we can all. Yes, if you're finished cooking, I'll hold the balacala. I don't have any problem. Somebody will just hold the phone while we continue our life. Why will I stop the life?
You'll be seeing how you're plating my.
Now they will be seeing how I'm plating your hair. What's the problem with that? Is your hair a society?
It's meant just for my husband to see.
Oh, no. Lo, 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 lo. Lo, 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 lo. Good evening, good evening. If you want to join me, please do well. There is enough space on my bed. Leave a comment, leave a comment, leave a comment. Today is bedtime stories. Leave a comment and comment where you're watching us from so that we might greet you in a language that you best understand. Good evening, good evening. I'm Nurse Aisha, and today we are trying to complete on the importance of the laboratory tests that you need to do before you get yourself into a relationship. Good evening, good evening, good evening. If you are joining for the very first time, please do well to leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe. Let's take Aisha to 1,000 subscribers. Let's take Aisha to 1,000 subscribers. Go and bed.
Stand up. How big is China? Go a bit.
Who the lie?
See, they come out UK, they come out Canada. They come out Canada.
Not only Cynthia the talk that can lie them. Not only Cynthia. I also know so all the people in this. I don't know no one person for here. Not only you the work I talk like they say that you come out Canada. You can know you see the kind of name that it is now German. This name.
They can just formulate their names also.
Hello, please. You think that they just formulated names for being here?
Aisha, the other one is called Cynthia.
Keep the phone back there. It's just one person online.
Where am I going to?
There were 50 something now.
I just disappeared.
Now there's nobody online.
Maybe they are abused.
Even though sometimes they will be online, they are seeing you, but you're not seeing. But, so what they can be watching, but they are not. You're not seeing now, except somebody get into your life. My battery is low. When somebody gets into your life now, that's where you see them. That means they have clicked on your life. They are not just watching from the home page.
They just people that have even clicked now.
Yeah, they have clicked like now.
Anyway, 50 something.
Yeah, not everybody remember to go up there to click, because that is where you are going to see it too. Even if it's you too, it's going to be difficult to always go check it. So always go check it. You both should stop playing. I'll beat you. Come and pass. Cheonga palo ba mo kufuwa we ba nga kisho.
Why crying?
The only person that shut up.
Yeah.
What are you doing there? Come and pass and go inside the palo.
Aisha.
When you were bathing, he was disturbing you. Nyafika, Jack, can you show me? Are you still the only person to cry? Good evening, good evening, good evening. If you are joining for the very first time, this is Nurse Aisha. So what I always do is when I realize that the engagement is low, I off the listen and then I reboot it. That is why sometimes you see me stopping and then redoing it again. Good evening, good evening. As you're joining, please leave a comment so that we'll greet you where you're joining from. When they start entering, they enter like 500, and they throw the messages like there was no tomorrow, and then they start going in the same, because when you start, you don't see, you just then see that you're already on 30, then from 30, 70, from 71, you don't know how they're entering. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
There's nobody.
There's nobody really. Let's close this one and see what. Let's see.
And check your phone.